Good morning. This is David Owen, and thanks for joining the Real Producers Partners podcast. In each episode, we speak with a real producers partner to learn more about their business and how to get a hold of them. Today, I'm joined by Carlos Novoa with PrimeAmerica. So, welcome, Carlos.
Hey, David, thank you so much for your time.
Sure. As we begin, why don't you share with everyone the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, so yeah, my office is located in Metairie, Louisiana. It's in right by the Lakeside, the mall of Lakeside Mall, and my phone number is 504 two
Okay,
forty eight 8146.
great.
Um,
Do you have a website?
I do have a website, but I will send you the link. It's www.primerica.com/ Carlos Novoa Perez.
Okay. Do you do any social media stuff like
Not so much.
Facebook?
I'm starting to do a little bit more social media this year. One of my goals in 25 is going to be to get more, have a bigger social media presence.
Sure, sure. And I think we're at the time of year that everybody should be taking a step back and thinking about planning.
Right.
As you start the year, that seems to me to be a good time to do that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get in this business?
Okay. So like I said, my name is Carlos Novoa. I'm from originally from Mexico. I've
Okay.
been living in Louisiana for the last 22 years. Actually, I'm going to make 22 years next week that I moved here. I've always stayed, between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And one of the reasons I decided to get into finance is because I've always liked numbers. Ever since I was in high school, I've always wanted to do something related to numbers.
So you
Uh,
were a math whiz.
yeah, I mean, I'm not so much into math, but I'm more into finance, into the
Okay.
market, how the markets work. I always wanted to learn how investing works. So I got in the industry back in 2009. I've been in the industry for 15 years. I
Oh
started
wow.
part time, yeah, went and got my licenses part time and worked my way up until I made a career change back in 2014,
Okay.
and I've been full time in this industry ever since.
So tell us a little bit about Primerica. Kind of what's the breadth of products that they offer?
Okay, so PrimeAmerica, what we do, well, first we've been in business since 1977, right? At 47 years, we'll make 50 years in 27. And we focus on helping middle income families, set their retirement, kind of plan for the future. Because one of the things about being in the investment business is that most companies, they might focus on a certain market, which is certain net worth. And if you're starting out, let's say you're 25 or you're starting out, that you want to sit down with somebody that can guide you, uh, for your finances, they might require to have a minimum investment. So what we do, we specialize in helping middle income families, whereas you can start with a mutual fund with $100 a month, $50 a month. You can start saving, and we kind of give you, we give you a GPS financial, and we work with different companies in the industry. The
Okay.
So we have a big selection of companies that can help you achieve your goals.
Well, what seems to me that one of the keys is that you think about it early, that you start early,
Right.
and that you take some action because planning is one thing, action is another.
Right. And you're right, Dave, because if we look at the statistics, I always tell people most people don't plan to fail; they fail to plan.
Hmm.
Because
Right.
we don't really look at our finances, and like you said at the beginning, this is the best time. I mean, this time of year is when we start thinking about our resolutions for the next year.
Yeah,
No?
exactly.
One of the resolutions that we always have is losing weight, of course, losing weight, get in shape. and finances, getting out of debt, making more money, saving more money, and so this is a great time for you to sit down and to actually do an actual budget to see where your money went for the year, and to see what changes you need to make for the following year.
Do
You know,
you help people with their budget?
we show
To,
families, yeah, right. We show families how to budget. Why? Because most people know how much they make, but they don't know where it goes. We don't know where
right.
our money goes, right?
All of a
So
sudden it's gone, right?
yeah, so all of a sudden it's gone, and like I met with a client, I met with a client yesterday. He's 27 years old, and his income is right at 170 a year. And when we looked at his finances, we realized that if he wants to retire at 50, he's gonna need about $4 million for retirement.
Yeah.
So he didn't know that. So we're working on a game plan so that we can get him to start saving money for retirement. Because I mean, time is gonna go by. The
Was he a
years.
single individual or is he
He's a
married?
single individual. He's 27. He's a registered nurse.
Okay.
And but one of the things that we did, we I mean, we didn't do it yesterday, but that was his homework. He needs to start working on his budget.
Hmm. Yeah. Because
Because
I tell you what, it's eye opening when you
right,
sit down and write those numbers on a piece of paper
yeah,
and do the math. You're like, I see where the money's going.
right.
And you can make adjustments, make changes as necessary, and you can put the money where it needs to be.
And if we don't pay attention, like I normally like to do that on myself about
Mhm.
every 3 months, every 6 months, and I started going over my statements of my bank account,
Yeah.
and like the last 3 months, I mean, the 3 months prior to this, back, June, July, August, I was spending about $190 to almost $200 a month on coffee.
Wow.
So I mean, if you put them, I mean, I'm not saying don't drink coffee, but also, like you can kind of cut back.
Yeah.
We were talking about coffee earlier, and that could be money that can go to maybe having life insurance on yourself, that in case something happens to you, your family is protected, or saving for retirement.
One thing is you can identify where the money's going, but you have to have the discipline to adjust
Right.
it.
Right. And I believe also, like most people, like when I met with this person yesterday with the client, he's 27 and his goal was to retire at 47. But we all have goals, but we don't really have a plan.
Do
Because
you kind of when you're talking to them, do you look at what they're doing? I mean, he's a registered nurse. Is he going to continue to do that? And do you look at projections that he has for growth
well,
within that?
this is the thing. He's not looking to be in that field in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So he doesn't know what he wants to do. But what I was explaining, I said, okay, so your lifestyle is based on 170,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when you get to retirement, if you're planning on, let's say, living off Social Security, and we kind of went through some numbers, I said you're gonna have to dramatically change your lifestyle.
Hmm.
Whenever if you wait till your 60s to retire. Now, if you want to retire in 20 years at 47, I said you need to start looking for a career that's gonna pay you, as much as you make it. If you want to have the same lifestyle or maybe
Yeah.
more, right?
Right.
Or change your lifestyle,
Yeah.
dramatically.
Yeah.
So that's why when we met, he didn't know exactly how much money he needed to save so that he can have that retirement.
Do you combine when you're doing the financial planning, the insurance side? How do you go about considering life insurance and all those um, things that nobody wants to talk about because they
Okay, so life insurance is basically the foundation, because let's say if he wants to, let's say, retire in 20 years, he wants to make sure, like, he doesn't have any kids, he's single, but let's say he got kids and he was single and he was paying a mortgage. Well, he's paying a mortgage right now. But let's say he had a family, and based on his income. Like I said, we just said that he's at 170,000 a year. So in order for him to retire with dignity, I mean, it's going to take some time so that you can accumulate, money, right? But we don't know if he's going to be around tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
or next year, right? So that's why you
Mm-hmm.
have life insurance, because it's the foundation. It's kind of like I always tell my clients, it's kind of like building a house. Without foundation, the house will collapse at some point, right? So the
Right.
foundation in this case is life insurance. So we normally, so it's normally suggest my clients to so you have anywhere from 8 to 10 times your annual income, so that your family can be properly protected. Now, in this case, like I said, assuming he got kids and he got family, his life insurance coverage should be anywhere from 1.5 million to 1.7 million
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that
Okay.
his family is okay. Right now, we want to make sure the life insurance is not that where your money is when you start planning for your finances, that the life insurance portion that you're going to be paying is not is trying to keep it as low as possible, because I mean we're not going to see that money, right?
Right.
So, unless something happens to us. We so that we try to find a policy that it is cost efficient, so that he can put the rest of the money based on his budget towards retirement, which he will be in his case should be anywhere. It should be a Roth IRA, right? So that you can max that out. But we always try to keep insurance and retirement separate.
Well, and like we were saying, the earlier you start, the better.
Right,
So it would seem to me you want to get to know people that are in their early 20s,
right,
even maybe in their teens.
right. Yeah, because I mean, when you're in your, I mean, it's never too late to start. I always tell my clients, I mean, with a client yesterday, she's 59.
No?
She's starting to, save money for retirement. She never really saved money. Um, but I mean, I was telling her, I mean, right now, what's happening is that the life expectancy keeps getting, we keep getting older, right?
Yeah.
Like life expectancy now is not what it was 20, 30 years ago. So, man, you're gonna live more years. You're gonna
Right.
live longer. So you need to start planning for the years you're gonna be retired. Because I mean, you're gonna retire at 65, and assuming your life expectancy is 84, you're gonna be living another 20 years. So you need to make sure you have enough money so that you can, live, uh, with money so that you can take care of yourself.
So what are some of the mistakes that people are making? I mean, some of them are obvious, but not putting money away. But what are other things that people don't do that they ought to do?
You said it earlier, having a life insurance that has savings and protection combined,
Okay.
that's a big, that's I mean, that's a big, way of losing your money. So we always suggest you keep your life insurance and your retirement separate.
Right. Right.
Okay, so that's one. Number two, um, right now we're in the information age, digital age, and there's a lot of apps, a lot of AI, a lot of information out there, and the guy that I was speaking to yesterday, he started doing day trading, you know and if you look
That
at the
can
statistics, I'm
that can
sorry,
be risky.
that's risky, because if you look at the statistics, about I think it's 86% of people that day trade lose money.
Uh-huh.
So we always suggest, you go with somebody that know, that has their licenses, and that can, guide you in the right direction,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
um like I said, not having a budget, not keeping a budget. Not keeping a budget, that's one of we tend to overspend. The use of credit cards.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife and I, it's interesting. We've done this for years, but we sit down at the table once a month and go through how we've done for the month.
Yeah.
And my wife is very detailed. And so when she balances to the penny, it's like she's like, "Oh, we balanced."
One thing I will tell you too is social media. I
Yeah,
mean, if you're not careful with social media, you can fall in the trap of try to keep up with the Joneses.
sure.
You know the old saying, because I mean, not all your friends that you follow on social media are rich. You
Uh,
know,
that's right.
so you don't know their financial situation. So sometimes we get in debt because we want to look like our friends.
Mm-hmm.
We trying to
Sure.
pretend like that we got money, we got it going on. So that's another big mistake I see people do these days. Younger people, millennials and younger generations.
That's a good point because it's keep up with the Joneses kind
Yeah.
of mentality that people have.
Um, and if you think about it, like, I mean, building wealth takes time. You know,
Yep. Yep.
but because now going back to social media, we live in a fast society that we want everything instant gratification. We want, like, that's why a lot of apps are becoming really popular, because, okay, well, if you invest this much money here, you're gonna you're gonna get this return, and you're gonna have 1 million in 2 years, 3 years, right? And that's why there's people that lose a lot of money. Why? Because we want to get rich quick, and it
Right.
takes time. It takes discipline. It takes time, and it takes yeah, basically just discipline and time. You know,
What makes you guys different? Or I'm sure you are different because you're sounds to me like you're developing a relationship with your clients.
right? Well, I like to, like I say, I like the educational part.
Okay.
I love to talk about investments. I love to talk about retirement. I love to talk about insurance, how life insurance works, and so I like to provide an educational approach when I meet with clients,
Okay.
so that you understand what you're doing. Rather than sell you a product. Because if I sell you a product but you don't really know how it works, you're probably gonna drop it at some point. But if you know why you're doing it, you know
Right.
how the actual product works. I mean, it's gonna be more valuable to you, and you're not. Uh, let's say you're looking at your budget and you want to cut some expenses. Well, you're gonna if you see the importance of what you're doing, you're probably gonna think twice before you do that.
So, how do people get started with you? I mean, how do they, what is there a process that you go through to learn more about what they've been doing? Or
Yeah.
how do you go through that?
When I meet with clients, I normally like I said, I like to meet with them in person or via Zoom. Uh, and we do what I call a financial checkup, to see where they are financially. You know, we look at things. Look, there's people that I met with a client a couple of weeks ago, and uh, he had three 401ks that he didn't know that he can roll over into a retirement account
Oh, wow.
from 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
we found out that he got some 401ks from old jobs, and so we're gonna roll that over. So we like to do the checkup, and that came through doing the checkup. Little questionnaire that we do to see if they have any money, if they have any retirement accounts that they're not touching, right? And once we do a checkup and to see exactly where they are financially, then we can start putting a plan according to their needs.
Okay. Do you work in concert if a company that a person is working for has a retirement um, program?
Mhm.
How do you work in concert with them? Or
Like if they
you,
already have a life another program.
yeah, or maybe they provide life insurance, or does that just go into the plan?
That's a good question. So one of the things that we show families is that when you have life insurance through work, we want to see what kind of life insurance, what kind of coverage you have,
Okay,
right?
right.
Because some life insurance through work, I mean, tends to be cheaper than your personal plan. That's why some people always go for the life insurance through work. But there's some portability issues that if you get laid off, if you retire, I mean, if
Right.
you change jobs, or just change a career, decide to leave the company, you can take the benefit with you.
Yeah, it disappears.
That it disappears, right? So in that case, sometimes people might become uninsurable, and then you can get insurance through work.
Yep.
So I mean, your own personal plan. So I always suggest people have their own plan in addition to what you have at work.
Okay. I think that's good advice. So what are some of the other success stories you want to share of things that you've done that are notable?
As far as my clients,
Yeah, sure.
well, man, when you deliver a check, I mean that's probably one of the saddest parts of what I do when you deliver a check at
Yeah,
death claim, you know.
yeah.
But when you like one of my clients, he was actually a close friend, one of my closest friends. He passed away recently, and he left. You know, because he took care of his family, he did what he was supposed to do. His family is going to be taken care of financially. You know.
Well, that's great.
We just met actually I'm working on a claim right now. Like I'm gonna meet with the widow later this afternoon. Her husband passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And her, his son, he's got two kids, and you know the wife never worked. So because he did the right thing, you know, a year and a half ago, not even 2 years ago, he protected himself, and his family is going to be financially taken care of. You know.
So she will not have to work.
She will not have to work. You
That's
know,
great.
she has more options. So you know, that's I would say that's probably the biggest. You know, when you deliver a check, when you actually um, see that you made a change for the family,
Okay.
because it's bad enough to lose your family member, and you know all the sorrow that comes with it, the loss, and then you have to, and then the stress of having to worry about money.
Yeah. So we're in a time of change in the country. I think a lot of people are hoping that the tax laws will get eased or changed in
Mhm.
certain ways. Um, do you take that into consideration when you do the planning
We
based
do,
on current tax laws?
we do because. You know, one of the benefits of having, let's say, an IRA, there's certain retirement accounts that are tax deductible.
Yeah.
You can benefit, you know, you can take advantage of, or there's some retirement accounts like a Roth IRA that is tax free, that you can, you know, get the money when you retire tax free.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to think about,
Yeah.
taxation.
Yeah. Because I think nobody can predict the future
Right,
as to what's going to happen, but you can make um, intelligent
right,
decisions based
right.
on currently where we are.
That's right.
And taxes could be a big bite out of your retirement
Oh,
if you
absolutely.
don't do it right.
Yeah. If you don't plan it right, yeah, they can definitely hurt you. You know.
Now, that would seem to me to be a pretty common mistake. People look at the big dollar that they may have at the end,
Hmm.
but then only see when it's all said and done, they might only get 50% of that.
Yeah, and then we don't, like I said, we don't take into consideration like the person that I met yesterday. He wasn't taking into consideration inflation.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
something that
yeah.
we don't think about, right? And I mean, the guy is making 170,000 a year, and he said, "Well, I'll just leave off Social Security."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I know.
I said, "Well, I mean, it's not gonna be enough because you need to. I mean, inflation. I mean, 170 today is not gonna be 170 20, 30 years from now."
Well, it sure won't be 170 on Social Security.
Right. Yeah, we kind of went over those numbers, and he was way, way low, you know, because he was expecting Social Security.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how do you see this industry changing with all that's going on in the country?
I think a lot more people are more aware of the fact that you need somebody to help you plan for your finances. Last time I checked, I mean, it's like a year ago, the statistics, I mean, there's a big need for financial advisors.
Hmm.
Okay. And because most financial advisors, I think the average age is anywhere from 55 to 62. So they're looking to retire in the next year, in the next, few years. So there's definitely a lot of tools that can help us, like AI. You know, you can take advantage of that if you use it right.
Yeah.
And there's also, and that kind of goes like, there's also a big opportunity for people to if they want to start working in this in a career in finance also, because like I said, there's a big need, there's a big demand for what we do, and not enough people doing it.
So you see this as a growth industry for a career as well.
Right.
People want to get into it.
Yeah. And like I said, we know with AI, and I mean I mean it makes it easier. It makes it easier if to and it's more accessible because there's a lot of information out there that you can. I mean, you can go on Google, and like one of the reasons I decided to be in this field is because when I moved from from Mexico, I was 18, and obviously there's a different system in Mexico and here in the United States. But and when I came here, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to open a checking account. I didn't know about life insurance. I didn't know about retirement planning.
Well, it
And the only,
sounds like it's been a good move for you
yeah,
from education perspective and a career perspective.
right. And now we have Google. We have a lot of things that we can use to our advantage that we can study. And like
Yep.
I said, you just go if you're gonna you can find out about how planning your finances work, but and go with somebody that has their licenses.
Right. Oh, sure.
That's registered.
Yeah, that has had some training, has
Right,
something, and an organization that will back them up.
right, right, exactly.
So you said Primerica has been around for almost 50 years.
Yep, 47 years.
They start, this is exactly how they started working with middle income kind of.
Yeah, it's always been middle income families, helping middle income families. That's the approach we have always taken, and our philosophy has always been buy term insurance, invest the difference in retirement, planning for retirement.
Okay.
And we do that, like I said, by providing an educational approach. You know,
So what's your target in terms of market? Who do you want to
uh,
talk to?
my target market is anywhere from 25 to 45, 55,
Okay.
more like 45.
Yeah,
People that are starting their career, that are starting their family,
sure.
to kind of start with a GPS to see exactly where you're going, right? Because the earlier, the younger, the better. And young professionals, people that like I said, this client, go back to the case yesterday. He's 27. He's making $170,000. He's never made as much, before.
Yeah.
So he needs guidance on how to manage his money.
Yeah. Well, I can see the challenge with a 27-year-old making 170,000 a year.
Yeah, because right. Because I mean, with social media, I mean, you wanna travel, but you also
Yeah.
wanna you also want to have a budget.
Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate your time today. Why don't you once again remind everyone how they can get a hold of you?
Sure. Once again, my name is Carlos Novoa, and you can always find me. My cell number is 504-248-8146. That's my cell phone number, and our office is in Metairie, Louisiana, 3200 Rich Lake Drive, Suite 205, Metairie, and you can always call me.
So, and we'll get your email so
Right.
people can contact you through email. We'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
And this will be posted out on YouTube and also on the Rural Producers Partners podcast channel.
Okay.
And
Well,
so, listen, I've enjoyed talking to you, and hopefully, people will reach out to you and be more successful in their own planning.
thank you, David. It was definitely a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Thank you.